Chapter 5. Electrons, the Fast and Furious. Now meet the electrons. These little speedsters zoom around the nucleus at mind-boggling speeds. They carry a negative charge and love to move. It's like they've had way too much candy. Electrons are what make atoms interact with other atoms. You know, like when two people do a high five? That's electrons in action. So next time you high five someone, thank the electrons. Imagine a racetrack that circles around a central point. Now imagine tiny cars whizzing around that racetrack at nearly the speed of light. That's kind of what it's like for electrons orbiting the nucleus of an atom. But here's the catch. Electrons don't just zip around in any random way. They follow specific paths, or orbitals, that are determined by their energy levels. Remember those energy levels we talked about earlier? Well, each orbital can only hold a certain number of electrons, kind of like how a car can only hold a certain number of passengers. The electrons in the outermost energy level are called valence electrons, and they're the social butterflies of the atom. Here's the mind-blowing part. Atoms are literally everywhere. They're in the air you're breathing right now, the water in your juice box, and even in your pet goldfish, Bubbles. Atoms combine in different ways to make everything. So, when you eat a slice of pizza, you're basically eating a bunch of atoms that were once part of something else. Maybe even a dinosaur. Whoa! Think about it. The chair you're sitting on is made up of atoms. The floor beneath your feet is made up of atoms. The walls, the ceiling, the lamp in the corner, it's all atoms, atoms, atoms. And it's not just inanimate objects. Your body is a bustling metropolis of atoms. The proteins in your muscles, the calcium in your bones, the water in your cells. It's all made up of atoms that have been recycled and repurposed countless times throughout history. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs? That air is made up of atoms too, mostly nitrogen and oxygen, with a dash of other elements thrown in for good measure. And every time you exhale, you're releasing carbon dioxide molecules back into the atmosphere, where they'll be absorbed by plants and turned into sugars through the magic of photosynthesis. Here's a fun fact. Atoms are mostly empty space. Yep, even though they make up everything, they're like a tiny house with a huge backyard. If the nucleus was the size of a basketball, the electrons would be zooming around miles away. So technically, you're made of a lot of empty space. Don't worry, you're still awesome and solid. Science is just wild like that. Imagine this. If you could somehow enlarge an atom to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be like a tiny marble sitting in the center of the field. And the electrons? They'd be like tiny gnats buzzing around the stadium, so small you'd barely even be able to see them. That's how much empty space there is inside an atom. It's mind-boggling to think that something so seemingly solid and substantial is actually mostly made up of nothing at all. But here's the thing. Even though atoms are mostly empty space, they still have mass. Now you know the secret life of atoms. They're the invisible superheroes that make up you and everything around you. And they never stop working, kind of like your parents when they're cleaning up after you. So next time you see something cool, like a rainbow or a fluffy cloud, just remember, atoms are behind the magic. Thanks, atoms! Oh, and don't forget to subscribe for more science adventures. From the smallest grain of sand to the largest star in the sky, it's all atoms, all the way down. And the amazing thing is that these tiny particles are governed by the same laws of physics that govern the movements of planets and galaxies. So next time you're feeling lost or insignificant, just remember, you are a part of something much bigger than yourself. You are a collection of atoms that has been forged in the heart of stars, and you are connected to everything in the universe through the invisible bonds of atomic interactions. It's a humbling and awe-inspiring thought, and it's all thanks to the power of science. By understanding the world around us, we gain a deeper appreciation for the beauty and complexity of the universe and our place within it. Well, that's about all the time we have for today, but remember, kids, the world of atoms is vast and full of wonders. We've learned that atoms are the tiny building blocks of everything around us, from the air we breathe to the stars in the sky. We've explored the atom's structure, met the protons, neutrons, and electrons that make it up, and discovered that even though atoms are mostly empty space, they're still responsible for all the matter we see and interact with. So the next time you're looking at a flower or a rock, or even your own hand, take a moment to appreciate the incredible tiny universe that exists within it. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and always stay curious.